Hi, I'm Upwards, and welcome to another day in life with me, and today, the Samsung S21. So I've been daily driving the S21 for the last few days, and when it first came out, it was a pretty boring phone, I must say. It was a pretty refined version of the S20, but with some compromises. A plastic back, a lower resolution, and a much more simpler design that made way for its bigger sibling, the S21 Ultra. But in many ways, the standard S21 became the standard for compact flagships. The S21 quietly cemented that position with an all-round setup that made sense to a lot of people. So how good is it in 2025? And is this a good choice for a budget compact phone? Well, in today's day in life, we're going to be testing out the performance, the cameras, the display, the software, and most importantly, their battery life. It is now 9:54, our battery percentage is at 99%. Let's get into this day in the life. So let's talk about the display on the S21. It's equipped with a 6.2-inch AMOLED panel that can refresh up to 120Hz. However, at Full HD, it's a step down from the last generation S20, which had a Quad HD display. Nevertheless, the S21's display is still great, with 421 pixels per inch, HDR10 Plus certification, and a decent screen-to-body ratio of 87.2%. I would say that the slightly thicker chin on the bottom is a little bit weird, making the bezels less uniform. But at least it is flat with minor curves on the edges, a design choice that many prefer over the S20's display. It is still a pretty high-end display with no color fringing on the edges and still looks really good in most lighting conditions. The brightness can reach 1300 nits at peak, which is decent enough, but by today's standard, it's a little on the lower side, making it a little bit hard to see on sunny days. Overall, the display on the S21 is still flagship quality, even though it's technically a step down from the S20, deserving an A- grade. Before we continue on with this video, let me tell you about my sponsor, ToughOn, which have sent out their Open Pro headphones. The ToughOn Open Pro headphones are a pair of open-ear design headphones which allow you to hear the world around you while having great sound quality. These sit on top of your ears and don't go into your ear canal, which makes it more ergonomic and comfortable to wear for longer periods of time while not getting any of those earwax stuck onto the earbuds. These are perfect for anyone who wants to hear the world around them while getting great sound quality. Whether you're outside, walking, jogging, or running, or playing sports, these are a great alternative to regular earbuds while having the same features like having up to 45 hours of battery life with the case, water resistance, and much more. If you're interested in finding out more about the ToughOn Open Pro earbuds, check the link in my description to find out more, and thank you to ToughOn for sponsoring this video. Back to the video. Okay, so it's now 10:19, our battery percentage is at 95%. Now we're going to head into the city. Let's keep going. Okay, so we just wrapped up the white elephant. Now let's do some camera tests with the S21. The S21 is equipped with a 12 megapixel wide, a 12 megapixel ultra wide with a fixed focus, along with a 64 megapixel telephoto, which sounds a lot, but technically it's not actually a proper telephoto. What it does is that it's actually a normal 23mm 64 megapixel sensor. What it uses is a hybrid zoom that's apparently equivalent to a lossless 12 megapixel 3x telephoto photo. Well, we're gonna put that to the test and see how these photos hold up in 2025. Let's take some photos. And I also got my friend Micah to help me with the modeling. Starting off with the main wide sensor, we get some good detailed photos with great dynamic range, sharpness, and slightly saturated colors as expected from Samsung. Clear details both in the highlights and shadows. Switching to the ultra wide, the details are clear with good dynamic range. However, there is distortion around the edges, which does create some noticeable softness around the edges of the photos. But generally, it's still pretty good. The telephoto camera is actually pretty decent, even though it's not a true telephoto lens. It does the job well. However, if you do move around, the noticeable shutter lag may not get your photo in focus. The 10 megapixel selfie is also decent, but nothing special. In lower lighting, images are more softer, particularly on the ultra wide and telephoto lens. With videos, we can shoot up to 8K. Not that everything is useful with its limitations. So in 4K, I will say that the videos do look crisp, and with good dynamic range, it is quite nice. Overall, the cameras on the S21 are decent, not anything special, but versatile enough for most situations and lighting conditions. Low light suffers a little bit, but everything else still holds up pretty well in 2025. giving the S21's cameras a B+. Okay, so we wrapped up the camera stuff. There's now 12:17, our battery percentage is at 73%. Let's get going. Okay, so just wrapped up lunch with my dad. Now it's time to go home. It's 1:42. Battery percentage is at 65%. See you guys at home. Okay, so now it's currently 3:23. Our battery percentage is at 44%. And I've been doing a lot of testing with the performance on the S21. So let's talk about that now. My version here has the Exynos 2100, but depending on your region, you might get the Snapdragon 888. It also comes with 8GB of RAM, so it's pretty standard in terms of what you get from the performance side. Obviously, at the time, these were the flagship chips with the 5nm process. And to be honest, I do find that the performance here has been pretty solid. For general usage like social media, a little bit of multitasking, the S21 can handle it pretty alright. However, if you do push it a bit hard, you will notice that the phone will start to overheat quite a bit. And it'll start getting pretty warm to the touch if you use it for quite a while doing a lot of things at once. For example, if you're doing a bit of split screen action, or if you keep switching between different apps, then you will notice that the S21 will start to slow down a little bit. Not necessarily in terms of launching and relaunching apps, but in terms of its heat management and the slight lags and stutters when you switch between different apps. But if you are a heavier user, you might find that the performance here might stutter a bit more for you. On the gaming side, we can run Genshin Impact at medium 30 FPS with no problem. However, if you do turn it up to a high graphics rate, such as 60 FPS or high graphics, then you'll start to notice that this phone will start to heat up a lot more. However, the gaming experience isn't too bad and you won't notice too much until it starts turbo throttling. All in all, the performance here is pretty decent, but nothing too amazing, and it's what you would expect for a 4-year-old phone at this stage. So for the performance rating on the S21, I would give it a B+ rating. Alright, let's keep going on with this day in the life. Okay, so it's currently 6:16 and our battery percentage is at 20%. Now let's talk about the design and the software of the S21. So starting off with the design, the S21 has a pretty simple design. It doesn't look too much different from the S20, but it does have some refinements. We have a plastic, metal, and glass body, which is a little bit of a step down from the glass enclosure on the S20. It does feel a little bit more tacky and a little more cheap than last year's S20, but they did change it in the next year with that frosted glass back on the S22, S23, and of course the S24. Now we also do have an IP68 water and dust resistance, which is to be expected of this flagship device, and we also do have Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, which is good for the display. So overall, the design is nothing special really. Now, on the software side, we do have Android 14 or One UI 6.1, which does include some Galaxy AI features. And depending on which region you are in, some of those Galaxy AI features may not be present at all, which is a bit of a bummer since the hardware is technically capable. Other than that, we have 5G and ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which is in the display, along with stereo speakers. So altogether, the design and the features are pretty decent and pretty normal for a flagship Samsung phone, but nothing really special. So I will give it a B rating for its design and its software and features. Alright, now I'm gonna get some dinner and then I'll talk to you guys later to talk about the battery performance at the end of this day. Let's keep going. Okay, so 7:50 and the S21 just died. So I'll quickly charge it up and now it's at 4%. It's time to look at the battery performance to see how the S21 did during my day in the life. So the phone, having used 100% of its battery, had a screen on time of about 4 hours and 7 minutes throughout the day. So I would say that the battery performance here is not too bad for its size, but still pretty bad in general, which gives the battery performance on the Samsung S21 a B- rating. Alright, so now let's wrap up my thoughts about the S21. Honestly, I thought that the S21 was actually a pretty good device altogether, but it just didn't really have anything special about it. It has a really nice display, decent performance for most things, along with some pretty decent cameras, good features, and an alright battery life. So altogether, the S21 gets a 73 or B rating, which is not too bad for a 4-year-old phone. And if you're looking for a compact phone with a good display, decent cameras, alright performance, and you're not too worried about the battery life, the S21 might be a good choice for you in 2025. Alright, that wraps up my day in the life with the Samsung S21. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, upwards, and I'll see you guys in the next video.